Hey, what's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be a champion guide for Maneater, so let's get into it. Alrighty, so Maneater is down in the Ogre Tribes, and the Void Epic that you see over here towards the far right. This is Maneater, and as always, for my champion guides down below, I will have a link to an infographic, nice and easy to find, so you can pull up the masteries you're seeing on the champion used in the video and all the general information all in one little area there, like the 11 books required and that type of stuff. But Maneater is a tough one to do an infographic on. A lot of them are because they're very build specific, but Maneater even more so because my Maneater is built for an unkillable comp called the Bateater. It's probably the best overall clan boss composition in Raid. It's built by a lot of endgame players, and that's why I want to get this video out, is because Maneater, it took me a long time to get Maneater, and it took me a long time to get two of them, which is what you need for that Bateater comp, which is amazing in my opinion. So anyway, do not blindly copy the masteries. Remember that mine is built for that composition, which is what I'll explain that as we get into the guide here, but I want to make sure and note that. But that is down below if you want to take a look. So let's go ahead and dive into the kit here. For the A1, we've got attacks one enemy with a 50% decrease attack debuff on all enemies as long as that attacks one enemy hit is critical. So if you're going to be using him in dungeons or campaign or account progression, if you're an early to mid game player, not a bad idea to get some crit and some accuracy on him. Then the A2 is going to be attack one enemy, fully deplete the target's turn meter, and fill this champion's turn meter equal to the amount the target loses. So some turn meter manipulation on the A2. Now the A3, this Ancient Blood ability, is what makes Maneater so crazy and so sought after for those unkillable compositions against the clan boss. This champion receives damage. He'll basically hurt himself based off of the ally max HP. Then places an unkillable buff and a block debuffs buff on all allies for 2 turns, and then the damage received is equal to 5% of the max HP of each alive ally. So that is what really enables the unkillable comp, and it can also help you resist those stuns to mess up the turn rotation of those clan boss compositions. So an amazing ability there with lots of utility in different teams. And then we've also got an aura ally HP of 33%, sorry, in dungeons. So if you're gonna be using it for account progression, a great R to have there to help out your HP and sustainability in dungeons. Then for the base stats, not bad. 20,300 is pretty good for an epic on HP, and then the defense is over 1100. Base speed of 98 is pretty normal, and pretty sturdy base resistance of 45. The 0 accuracy is a little bit rough. You'd like to see like a 10 there, just to help out to hit the accuracy parameters if you're worried about the A1 and the turn meter manipulation going on there in the kit. But if you're using it for an unkillable comp, you don't really need to worry about the accuracy, because which ends up being a good thing, because those build parameters can be tough building it with the high speed. But I'll show you that when I show you my Maneaters. But now let's go ahead and dive on into the Maneater that I've got built on my account, and we'll talk about some of the gearing, booking, and masteries. Okay, so here we are in my champion index, and you will see that I've got the 2 Maneaters built here. Those are going to be my 2 Maneaters for the unkillable comp. I do have a dedicated video if you're curious on the ins and outs of that best Bateater composition in the game. I will remember to link to that over there if you want to check that out. But yeah, I'll show you the toughest one here to gear. And the reason that this one's the tougher of the 2 is the 267 base speed to get to, which can be a very tough threshold. Probably one of the tougher things to do in terms of building that Bateater composition is getting the 267 speed on this Maneater. Then the other one comes in at the base speed of 248. So you got to build them both pretty fast. But the handy thing is when you build them that fast, you can kind of use them in dungeons and faction wars and things like that as well. If you do get them built, a lot of people like to use their Maneaters in their faction wars teams on Ogre and Tribes and stuff. But just remember, you're probably not going to get a whole lot of value out of the A1 and the A2 if you're not building accuracy on him, because in unkillable comps, it's very common to just go super glass cannon, get crit rate, crit damage, and attack, because obviously in an unkillable comp, you're not worried about the HP, and you're not worried about the decreased attack or the turn meter manipulation stuff, because it won't work on the clan boss. So there's a little bit of a different process in terms of gearing and stats that you're looking for. You just want to pay attention to that if you're going to be building your Maneater to use in different areas of the game. But in my opinion, the priority, especially if you've got the champions to build the Bateater comp, is going to be to use him in that, because that is such a quality of life. It's an amazing composition, and I will show you why here in just a little bit. And this is typically where I kind of go through the pieces and talk about the stats you're looking for, but it is so wildly different based on what you are building your Maneater for. I will show you my unkillable comp, obviously attack banner, we're looking for as much DPS as we can do. So you're going to see a Maneater that's kind of glassed out. We've got the crit damage amulet, attack ring, and obviously crit rate gloves to make sure I get to that 85 plus 15 to crit every turn. Attack chest. Speed boots are obviously going to be needed when we need to get that high of a speed on a champion, and then we're just looking for as much damage and speed stuff as we can get here on the other gear. So it's a little bit weird to describe the gear for Maneater, but that is the gear that I've got on my fastest one for my unkillable comp. Now let's go ahead and dive into the booking process. All right, so when we are booking Maneater, if you want to save some books on the A1, go for it. We don't really ever build Maneater as some crazy damage dealer or anything, and you're just getting damage out of these 4 books. So if you get some good RNG, go ahead and save a book or 2 on the A1. You definitely have to book the A3. That is going to be the largest percentage of his value as a champion, and it's going to also be required if you want to build that composition or make him work on some of these unkillable comps. So you definitely want to get the A3 booked and ready to go. The Siphon one, it is what it is. I don't think you have, mine's fully booked, so honestly I can't tell you 1000% for sure. I don't think it matters in terms of the unkillable comp getting this booked. I know you have to build this. I have not specifically tested that. My assumption would be that you don't need to book it, but anyway, the gist is make sure you get the 2 books here on the Ancient's Blood, and then if you want to save some books on the A1, go ahead and do that. Then for the Masteries, remember we talked about that a little bit in the intro, and the graphic is down below if you want to check that out at on your own time and pull that up when you would like. I'll have a link to that image. But yeah, remember, don't blindly copy these, but these are the Masteries that I use for the Maneater on my Bateater composition if you want to check those out. And before I dive into showing you the rotation and why that composition is so amazing, which is the main reason I want to do this video, let's go ahead and grade him in the different areas of the game. Obviously, we're going to go 5 in Clan Boss. He's probably not super amazing outside of the unkillable comp. At least he does have decreased attack on the A1, and he can block debuffs, which can help you with dealing with the Clan Boss stun and that type of stuff. So not worthless, but definitely what makes him shine is the unkillable compositions. Arena, he's all right on arena offense and defense. I see him used a lot in tag team arena. People got him built to be pretty fast, so they'll go ahead and throw him in their tag team arena teams. And he can be pretty hard to deal with the block debuffs and then the AoE decreasing attack and some of the stuff that he brings to the table. So not bad in the arena by any means. Spider's Den, he does have some turn meter manipulation and the AoE attack to kind of suppress the spiderlings. I could see him making sense in a certain build, so I'll go ahead and give him a 4. He'll be kind of a 4 in most of these dungeons. Not like super meta amazing, but he's definitely pretty viable in a lot of these. The score is the lowest on the Fire Knight because he only has that single hit A1. But again, he's not awful because he does have some turn meter stuff going on and some utility there. Minotaur, he's pretty good. The decreased attack on the A1 to help you progress there. Campaign, he'd be like a 3 or a 4. He's not that bad in helping you 3-star stuff, but he's not like an amazing campaign champ or anything. He's pretty good in Faction Wars, especially if you build him for that, get him in the right squad. I can give him a 5 there. Most of these normal keeps, he's just kind of fine. Doesn't bring any sort of special utility on these other than being kind of a decent support. So that's the grades for Maneater. And now let's go ahead and dive into why that unkillable composition, which is the main gist of what makes Maneater famous. Let's dive into why that is so amazing. So as you can see here in my end game clan here, we've got all these end game players, and look what they're doing. Double Maneater, double Maneater, double Maneater, double Maneater, double Maneater. Try to say that 5 times fast. But anyway, yeah, it's used by so many endgame players, and I'll show you why it's so incredible. So when you go into your Clan Boss fight, this composition is 1 key capable on Ultra Nightmare. 1 key and you're done for the day. Max chest, Ultra Nightmare. And it works on Nightmare, Brutal, every single difficulty. You just go ahead, plug it in. It takes literally 10 seconds. Like, you have to manual for 10 seconds, and then you're done. Click auto, boom, 1 key, Ultra Nightmare. Now, if you don't have amazing gear, if you're not super endgame, super easy to get this to be an easy, breezy 2-key composition. That's what makes Maneater so amazing and famous as a champion, is this composition right here. So I'll show you how mine works in case you're curious if you haven't seen that dedicated video on. So when the fight starts, you're gonna have your fastest Maneater that you're gonna have. You can go ahead and hit auto on. So Maneater's gonna go first, do his thing, then Seeker's gonna go and attack. Now this is where I have to manual my second Maneater. I can just click on the boss, and then I have to tell Painkeeper to go ahead and do the A3, and boom. Off and rolling. We're unkillable. We're going to last 50 turns, and Maneater is a big part of enabling it. And he's honestly usable in a bunch of other unkillable comps. I would definitely check out deadwoodjedi.com. He's a good friend of mine, does a lot of really good stuff on Clan Boss, and has an amazing tool on his site, and also showcases some of these compositions where Maneater can help you do some cool things and unkillable stuff. So that's why I use my Maneater, and why I wanted to get this video out and just have a quick discussion about him, kind of show the build and talk about what makes him so amazing and famous as a champion. So all right, that is going to do it for this one. Now, in my journey playing Raid, Maneater was the last Void Epic I got. So that's why I was not able to do this video for a long time. Even though I know Maneater is a very famous champion for the reasons that I've talked about in this video. I was dying to do a video on him and talk about that Clan Boss composition and build it myself and go through that learning experience so that I could talk about the best composition in the game. I pulled about, I think, 1,400 Void Shards on my main account, and I want to say about 1,200 of them were 2x Void Shards, and I could not get a Maneater. Now, once I got one Maneater, I got the other one pretty soon thereafter, so I ended up getting both of them within about a month or so, but it took me a year and a half and literally about, I want to say 1,300 or 1,400 Void Shards and about 1,200 of them 2x to get the 2 Maneaters. So it was really rough. It was quite the journey, but I'm glad to be able to finally do this video and build that comp, because it definitely helps a lot. It's an amazing endgame composition. If you can get the champions to build it, I would definitely recommend doing it, because it makes the daily raid grind that much better when you've got that type of composition where you can just easy breezy, Clan Boss, done, 10 seconds of manual, and you can get to a point where you're one-keying stuff. So anyway, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.